All right, so this is where we left off. One of my students just made a great point and said the only way that you can open up this ring based on what we've learned is with ozonolysis. So really, I mean, I would think that at some point in this synthesis, you have to make this molecule that we made a few minutes ago, right? Because if you put the double bond here, I mean, that's not going to do anything. That won't open up the ring. So you're going to have to put the double bond here. And so if we do that, and we did this in the last synthesis, we treated this with sodium ethoxide to make the Zaitsev product. And then, like Audrey said, if we treat this with ozonolysis conditions, what is going on here? Apple Pencil's acting up. There we go. So DMS, sorry, going backwards here. Ozone followed by DMS in the second step. So now if we, cut this bond, what's it going to look like? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 carbons. So let's draw those out carefully. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can even number these again for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that. You can see that on carbons 2 and 7, we're going to have carbonyls. So we end up with a ketone and an aldehyde. And now the question is just, how do we get from here to here? Well, you can see that all we're doing is we're adding a methyl group at this carbon and we're adding a methyl group at this carbon. So really all we need is excess methyl magnesium bromide, and that's going to do both of those nucleophilic attacks. So we'll put excess methyl magnesium bromide. And then in the second step, we just treat that with H3O plus, and that's going to give us the final compound. Nothing more than that. That's all there is to it. All right. So if you're not following, again, all we're doing is taking the methyl carbanion, and one of them is going to react here, right? And the other one, and second one, since we have excess, a second one is going to react here. So you're doing two reactions at once. You make two alkoxides, you protonate them both. Oh, sorry, I'm missing a step, aren't I? Because doing this, you would have ended up with an alcohol, wouldn't you? Oh, nobody stopped me on that. Thanks, Tiana. All right, I'm sure you would have stopped me before. So let me just fix this. You're right, I would have made an alcohol. So I would have made this. So this alcohol is fine because it's tertiary, but the second one is secondary. And so I would have to treat that with PCC in the last step. All right, does that help? Is that better? I didn't realize I made a mistake or I was missing a step there. Good. All right. So that's 19.40D. Let's take a look at E. Does anybody remember the name of the functional group in this compound here in the final compound? The final compound. Yeah, thanks, Audrey. It's an imine. Right, so we have an imine. And so if we do a little retrosynthesis here, that means that it has to come from a primary amine, which would be this, so isopropylamine. And then our carbonyl compound would be this cyclohexane carbaldehyde is all we need. So yeah, so now the question becomes, well, how do I get from here to here? I'll just ask you, for anybody who is able to complete this one, am I going to start with a Markovnikov addition of water or anti-Markovnikov? Because I need to get oxygen in there. Yeah, I need anti-Markovnikov, so I'll start with borane and THF, followed by H2O2 and sodium hydroxide. That's going to get, thanks, Jalen, that's going to give me the primary alcohol like this. Then I can oxidize that. We could do a Swern for a change, or PCC, or Desmartin proiodinane. Okay, any one of those will work. Yeah, let's try the Swern. So we don't do it much. So DMSO and oxalyl chloride and triethylamine in the second step, and that would give us the aldehyde. So cyclohexane carbaldehyde. And then in the next step, all we have to do is treat that with the primary amine, a catalytic amount of acid, and we remove water. And that gives us our enamine, and that's the whole thing. That's the whole kit and caboodle, just like that. All right, there we go. So what I would like you to do before next class is we'll take a quick peek at that thing about spectroscopy next class, and I would like you to try all the suggested practice problems, and then we'll tackle any one of those that you want to take a look at afternoon. All right.